Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. I'm tired of shit.
Hello, my fellow heroes of Lithas. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we will go through the 9 beginner mistakes that you should avoid in Bloodline. I know I have made a similar video back in the past, but I figured it's been a while and obviously things may have changed since then. So, here we are. I hope you find what I have to say useful. But before we get started, I want to tell you all something amazing. I have decided to have giveaways on this channel. The giveaways will happen every time we reach a certain amount of subscribers. So when we reach 750 subscribers, I will give away $20 to one of my dear subscribers. When we reach 900 subscribers, there will be a $50 giveaway. And when we finally reach the milestone of 1000 subs, I will give $100 to one of you. The only requirement needed to take part in these giveaways is that you subscribe to the channel. It will be absolutely wonderful, and I hope you are thrilled for this. That being said and done, let's get started with mistake number 1. The first mistake that a lot of people, especially new players, make is the mistake of trying their luck in every single banner, aka spending a little bit crystals here and a little bit crystals there. It is way better for you to save up your summoning crystals until you have about 400 to 500 of them. After collecting a certain amount of summoning crystals, remember, do not rush it. Be patient and wait for the banner that actually is worth it. I would suggest you aim for either a meta champion or a must-have champion, but at the end of the day, it is your account so you can summon on whichever banner you want. But just keep in mind to spend it wisely. Anyways, once the champion you want appears on the banner, start summoning with your summoning crystals only on that specific banner for that specific champion, until you claim the companion of your wanted champion. And yes, I did say companion and not champion. You could also stop once you get the champion from summoning, but trust me, having the companion is way better, as it is equal to having an unlimited source of champions from that specific clan. Anyways, long story short, if you are planning to summon in a banner, my recommendation is summon for the companion, not the champion. Talking about companions, the next mistake I would like to mention is the mistake of not leveling up the companions one by one. You should always focus on leveling one at a time, and obviously focus on the one that you really need. If you for instance have Yevnian and Ignis as companions, and you want Yevnian in your team, or you want their clan trait, if that's the case, you should use your intimacy points to bring Yevnian up to mythic as soon as possible. Do not share the points with Ignis. Once you have brought Yevnian to mythic, then you can focus on one of your other companions, or you can save up your intimacy points for later. You don't necessarily have to spend everything in one go. It's nice to have some spare points in case you get a really strong companion that you want to level up to mythic. The next mistake a lot of players make is the mistake of not spending the carouse points, aka Vigor potion. This may not seem like a big deal, but you are missing out on a lot of charisma points, which can be spent on the list of companionships to help you earn more gold from the districts. Thus, I would suggest you spend all your carouse points apart from maybe 20 Vigor potions. By the way, a small heads up for when it comes to the companionships. When you spend those points, make sure you spend most of them on the first category and then the second category. Always pay attention to how much you are spending on each of the categories and compare them to each other to find out which one is the cheapest. The first category is usually the cheapest, while category number 2 is double as expensive, but it gives double the points. As for the third category, it should be double as expensive as the second category, as it gives double the amount of resources you get from the second category. So yeah, pay close attention to the cost while leveling up the categories to ensure that the balance is maintained. Another thing I want to address, which has nothing to do with companions, vigor, or banners, or anything like that. It is a very common mistake that really new players make. Actually, I think even players who are familiar with Bloodline also makes this mistake accidentally from time to time. So, Have you ever logged into Bloodline and collected everything as well as done the expedition, heirs, dungeon, etc., etc. And then you realize you never even once visited the Hall of Fame and you did not accept any quests at all? Yep, this is the blunder of Bloodline that I'm talking about. The horrible feeling of not being able to finish your quests and missing out on lovely rewards, which includes diamonds. I am guilty of this myself, which is why I wanted to give you all a reminder so that hopefully you all don't make the same mistake. Now, let's move on. There is another thing which, similar to Hall of Fame, also gets easily overlooked. It is understandable when you're new to a game and you have zero clue about what the game has to offer. I have been there, done that, to say the least. So, very often, pretty much all the time, Bloodline has special events. These events, aka challenges, which they are also called, are divided into 4 different types. We have the Might Challenge, Charm Challenge, Districts Challenge, and Intimacy Challenge. These occur sometimes at different times and completely separated, or they appear a little bit more together. It depends really. But yeah. Anyways, the mistake that some players make, especially newbies, is that they do not save up the resources for the different challenges. So when the challenge comes, they do not have enough resources to stand a chance at winning, or even complete all the time-limited quests that comes with these challenges. For those who face this kind of problem, I'd suggest you save up your gifts of intimacy for when the intimacy challenge comes, and then spend everything while the event is going on. As for the Might Challenge, you can save up your gold and spend it on leveling up your main team's champions or other desired champions when the Might Challenge starts. But the trick that I suggest is resetting just your main team or all your champions right before the Might Challenge starts, and then level up your champions again after the challenge starts. Doing this gives a lot of free Might points, and if you really want to win, I just realized I was about to go completely off topic. Maybe I should make a different video in the future, talking about how to win the different challenges. Anyways, back to the topic in hand. The reason these challenges are so important is because not only does these challenges give free resources if you complete the time-limited quests, but winning these challenges can help you obtain a tower in Hall of Fame, which will allow you to get free summoning crystals every 2 weeks as long as you're in the top 10 in the Fame ranking. Okay. Right now, it is time to talk about the next mistake. This mistake involves traits. So as many of you may or may not know, level 22 is the highest level of trait that is acquirable in this game. And there's a lot of debate about this in the community. Some players suggest that you should make your characters 15 stars as soon as possible even if your main clan trait is not level 22. While another group of players suggests that you should wait at 14 star and only 15 star a character after you have acquired a sacrifice of the same champion with level 22 clan trait to be used in the altar. As for the third group of players, including an ex-player and content creator called Rage Panda, these players believe that you should stop around 11 to 12 stars and only advance over 12 if you have more than 50 Vigor. I for one see the marriage in each of these arguments, but in my opinion, I think Rage Panda made a valid point about game balancing. That aside, unless you are a whale or have tons of resources, I think those resources would be more well spent in leveling up different companions' intimacy rather than focusing all that in a single 3-star companion. Just one champion of yours can have a level 22 main trait, but by the end of the game, it's your game, so you do you. Although, if you want my opinion and my advice, then this is my advice that you just heard. I feel like that's 2 advices in one. The first one is, if you should level up a 3-star companion to have level 22 traits, obviously considering that you're not a whale or have abundant amount of resources. And the second advice is about if you should wait to ascend over 12 stars, or if you should ascend to higher stars as soon as possible. That being said and done, let's move on to the second from last mistake new players make, which is the mistake of spending all the resources on the main team. Now, I'm not saying investing in the main team is a bad thing, it's just that instead of using all your resources on one singular team, it is better to focus some of the resources on the champions that are part of the districts. Because having higher level champions in the districts results into you getting more gold. And more gold means you have more resources to spend on your main champions. Anyways, the last but certainly not the least important mistake that players do is not activating the guild raid buff. Because if I'm not mistaken or forgetting something, the guild raid buff increases your team's power in everywhere apart from campaigns, Valley of Conquerors, and guild conquests. And I know not everyone can activate guild raid buff, and the guild raid buff can only be activated by guild masters and deputies. But the reason I included this in the list is because it's still a mistake a lot of players make, and the guild masters and deputies are still players nevertheless. That was all for today. I really hope you found what I had to say helpful. By the way, if you know of more mistakes that beginners in Bloodline make, I would love to hear about it in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. Have an amazing day and week everyone. Take care, stay foxy, adios, bye!